Hello there, it's Mike.
And Katie.
It's episode 152.
The one with ghosts.
This week on Cup of Rad. Spine tingling, hair twitching, anus is clenched. You've seen a ghost, or it's seen you in the shower, or whatever you're doing right now.
If you listen to us in the shower, that's a whole nother level of commitment. I don't know how you manage that.
There's waterproof speakers.
I know. Yo, that was one thing I always wanted as a kid.
It's a waterproof speaker?
No, was the waterproof radio, the shower radios. I thought they were the coolest, most magical things ever. I hadn't thought about shower radios for a really long time.
I'm pretty sure the shower radio is like Bluetooth.
I know, now they'd be like fanciest things ever, right? But
bar of soap wrapped around a speaker. You lose that and you'll have a new tune. Hey everyone.
But you didn't expect the podcast to start out with shower radios now, did you?
So how's it going? Pause for dramatic effect and your answer now.
Oh, good to hear. Good to hear.
Excellent. I'm glad.
What are we doing? What are we drinking, Mike?
Well, I had the pleasure of stopping by the local brewery, one of the many local breweries, Old Yale Brewing Company, and I had found that they had cold brew black lagers.
Yeah, it's a collab with Old Yale and a local coffee roaster called Smoking Gun Coffee Roasters.
Yeah, so it's a dark espresso color.
It looks like soda. The color, it looks like Coke. It doesn't taste at all like Coke, but that's what the color is. It's tripping me out because it tastes like really a good, rich beer. It's not a stout. Obviously, it's a lager. But then tastes like black coffee.
Yep. The espresso character of the roast malts are amplified by conditioning on the Brazilian Poco something. Creating a sweet and clean, dark chocolate, caramel, and apple profile. The pair with the light body and crisp, dry finish.
Wow. Oh, fancy.
No, it's really good.
Yeah, it is actually really good.
It's really good.
It comes in a tall can. It's even better. It's good times.
So, we're doubling up. We're doing a coffee and beer at once.
That is like the ultimate cup of rad. Well, that is like the best of both worlds. Beer and coffee. How could you go wrong? It's good. The more I drink it, the better it gets. Need to put it down.
But it's not good with food.
With fries or anything else. You know what? It would be good to make one of those floats. The ice cream floats with it. Oh my gosh.
Coffee, beer, ice cream floats?
Yes. Why is that not my life right now?
Because you just thought of it. And
that would be amazing. Can you imagine the chocolate espresso ice cream that we have? Oh, snap. Good stuff.
Fair enough.
Stuff. Anyways.
Fair enough. Let's see. Where are we today? We're here. And that's
we had a relaxing few days.
I would say we had lazy.
We had lazy few days. We weren't out. We were running errands.
We were lazy.
Yeah, we were lazy. The bed was really comfortable.
Well, I don't know.
Everyone was lazy.
The weather was gross and
the house was silent and just except for the rain outside, and it really made you want to just stay in bed.
You do that. A depression kitty hit us.
Kitty, yeah. And there's a little bit of that. But then kiddo was playing Animal Crossing for hours upon hours today, so we kind of had a family Animal Crossing bit because he's so excited for this new major update and DLC that's coming on November 5th. It's his world right now. And with that, he's all jazzed and inspired to revamp his island because there is a lot of wasted space, a lot of just forested areas without really development. And I look at a lot of these trailers and I'm like, there's so much cool designs of things that we could put out there. And so my house in Animal Crossing was out in the forest because it was a latecomer to the place, and Mike's was on the beach, which was really cool, but he's so limited and he has no yard. So the idea of we took out and moved a bunch of stuff and moved him back by my house, and we're doing all sorts of.
Well, if I can't live my dream of farming in
the
real
middle
life
of nowhere.
in the middle of nowhere, I got to do it somehow, and I guess it's gonna be Animal Crossing.
So now we live on either sides of the river. It's adorable. We can have an over the river romance. Look at that. Hello. We have a bridge. I'm way too excited. I just bought my.
Do we have a bridge over water?
We have a bridge over just regular water. And I have my basement now. I just got that. So house is built complete. Not at all close to being paid off for, of course, but still, it's fun.
It's like real life.
Anyway, that was really our day.
That was that, yeah. And we were trying to help him plan things and figure out where
he's so
things
scattered.
go. And that's how his island started, where it was just like, what? Okay, I'm just dropping this here. I'm just dropping this there.
Yeah.
So, but, it'll be fun. There's a huge update, and then there's going to be DLC coming, so he's really excited for all that kind of stuff, and that'll be really awesome.
I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I know you are.
Well, it's like, because I love Sims so much, as you say, it's similar to that concept idea, right? So
Sims for kids.
But I'm excited now that I have all my rooms in my house, except for the only thing I'm waiting for is the partitions that they announced for the update, which is really awesome. But now that I have all the rooms, then I can really start planning. I made updates to my kitchen today, and I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
This is life.
Well, that was your guys' excitement. My excitement was DC fandom.
Yes, that was all day yesterday.
That was why I was lazy, and I piped into that, and it was a lot longer than I expected. I actually feel a little dopey for sitting through that whole thing.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. That was like hardcore.
Then all the trailers dropped like minutes after they showed on fandom.
You're like, oh, that was cool.
So
you're just loyal, man. You're just loyal. You're like there for the excitement of the beginning.
That's true.
You saw everything. Oh no, out of context things. That's true. You just saw it all.
Well, it was nice to see some of the things that we talk about, especially like for myself.
I'm super sad. I missed the Tom Welling panel thing.
Because it was Smallville's 20th anniversary.
Yeah, like that was the one thing that would have been like awesome.
To the date.
I know. He posted a picture of himself back from Smallville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's weird though is like, because when you go to cons and you meet these celebrities and then you see them talking and all that, and you're like, well, that person put their hands on me, like.
Right.
Like it's weird to think that. Like there's like a million people that can say the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But like it's still weird. Like,
but it's still trippy, right?
Yeah.
It's like his arms were around me. I will never forget that. I've met a couple Supermen. Yeah. It's fantabulous.
Yeah,
and they've both been really awesome.
Yeah, we've met two Supermen.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Brandon Roth was really awesome to talk to.
That was
like
really
he was
weird.
So nice, like super nice. And just so happy. Both of them were just so happy.
Yeah.
So it's good times.
But we got to see the Peacemaker trailer but for me, I'm really excited for that. Like it's amping up to be my most anticipated media going forward right now.
Yeah.
Just because I love James Gunn's quirky humor, and I think he's going to bring something to the character in his writing. Because there's 8 episodes. He wrote all of them, and he directed 5, they said. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it really is his baby, and you could tell that he really loves the project.
Yeah.
When they were all talking. And John Cena is just a magic human being. Like, he continues to amaze me.
Yeah.
He's just so genuine. And you know what's interesting is the same kind of awe that I have about The Rock.
Mm.
Where it's just like, you're really genuine, like, you're a decent actor, you display and demonstrate yourself as a decent person, and obviously hardworking and good at what they do and interested in learning new things. I mean, obviously they're kind of a bit more different, but it's impressive that they
have a dedication, in a certain way. Well, because I had found out through a behind the scenes thing for Suicide Squad that John Cena apparently just learned to play the piano while on set because he needed something to do, right? It just seems very inhuman almost. Right? Like, oh, I'm bored. I'm just going to go play the piano.
Yeah.
Right? I wish I had that dedication. Like,
yeah.
And like, starting to feel that like, okay, I need to start doing some things. I need to become awesome. Like,
I need to step it up, man.
Right? But the trailer for Peacemaker, it made me laugh. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm in for, because it's going to just be, I think, ridiculous. And
Kiddo's going to be eagly for Halloween.
Yeah, I see that would be the perfect thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to rock a Peacemaker outfit and then make one of you Eagly.
I know, right? I'll do it. I'll be your Eagly.
He's hugging me. Dad, get my phone.
And I don't have to move. He's hugging me. Oh, yeah. I'm very excited for that.
Right.
Very excited for that.
Then we got the Flash, which literally was a teaser.
It was a teaser, and it gave me goosebumps.
So
all over. It was exciting.
It's exciting to hear Michael Keaton, right, show up there and see the ears and know the Batmobile there.
Yeah,
right?
that was so cool.
So I think that's exciting. Like they're finishing up filming. I
liked him as the Flash. They did a good job with what I like him way better than the TV show. And I think especially seeing his treatment of how he was able to play it in the extended cut of Justice League. So I hope then that same concept can come across. But
not
he did
the other one.
Yeah, but he did a good job in it, right? Yeah. So we'll see.
So that's exciting. Yeah. And then we got to see little bits for Black Adam, and we got to see little bits of Shazam. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool. And some Aquaman too was in there.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
And
they talked about Wonder Woman 3. They didn't, other than just they were doing it.
Yeah.
There's nothing really.
I think it was just a confirmation that yes, it's still happening.
Yeah.
And then the fact that we actually got to see the second trailer for The Batman.
Yes.
Which looks pretty amazing.
That looks really cool.
There's a few reservations on just how some things look for me. But
I like the Batmobile.
The Batmobile looks cool.
I think that looks really cool.
Batsuit looks great. I think Catwoman looks great.
Yeah.
Right. Her goggle-less look is a little strange, but it's not. It's Riddler for me. Yes. Kiddo saw the McFarlane Toys picture and he said, "What's with the dude in like the hazmat suit?"
And that there is the problem with Riddler's costume.
And I was like, "That's the Riddler." It's like, that's not the Riddler. The Riddler does have question marks all over him. Like, that's not the Riddler.
Right?
So, so it'll be interesting to see. Like, I'm excited. Like, that's like a minor little gripe. Like, it's not, it could be amazing for all we know. Right? So we'll have to wait and see. But
maybe it's just a portion of him.
Right? Maybe it's the beginning of the costume.
It's the beginning, yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe he goes into the place in hazmat and then it melts away and then he decides to wear something else. Who knows?
Nothing is going to beat, though, the Jim Carrey spandex onesie, though.
I think it's so awesome.
Like, that is, I'm sorry, but that is like the best Riddler costume ever.
Right?
Like, hands down, the bowler and the jacket.
Oh, yeah.
You can fight me on that one. But like, that was just, it got extreme when he became bedazzled at the end. When he went insane.
Bedazzled was awesome.
But like when he had his bowler hat and the green mask and the jacket with the cane. Oh, it was so bright. Yeah. Right? It was like, that was Riddler perfection in that. Like, that's one thing that movie got right. Yeah. Right? So there's a tangent on soapbox moment.
Hey, it was related, at least. It was still DC.
But I will admit, DC right now, with what they showed with DC fandom, has me excited for their slate going forward, which I hadn't really felt in a while.
Well, it feels weird to not really know what's going on with Marvel too much and not feel like super pumped and have that road map of Marvel movies. Yeah. It feels a little lackluster at the moment. So DC definitely...
because nothing's really been moving forward with Marvel. Everything's been telling its own little tales. I know there's a building block set there, and I know we've got Eternals coming up next month, and we also have Hawkeye next month. Yeah, and that leads all up to
I'm excited about all of that stuff.
Yeah, but
totally off topic. The Eternals, though, there's a makeup line that is Eternal based from Urban Decay on Sephora showed up, and it's so pretty. And I just thought it was so awesome that they actually do cross promotion like that. Yeah. Like really high end makeup with movies like that. It was so pretty.
Getting all sparkly.
Yeah.
Now we've missed a whole bunch of new movies in theaters. We never went to Malignant. We never went and saw Halloween Kills. Like, I wonder, will we go see Eternals?
Probably, because I want to go.
Okay. Note to self, if Katie wants to go.
I'm the one in charge of buying the ticket, so that's...
Got me deep.
No, I don't know. It's it is one of those ones. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to bring Kiddo to it.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll be too many questions for him. Not like I want him talking through the whole thing at home, but I'm worried that it might be a little too much.
Heavy-handed.
So I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But
yeah, I don't know. I think
you're just sold on not wanting to go to the theater ever. So
not true. No. Maybe.
This coffee.
This coffee.
This coffee.
Yes,
beer,
this is coffee, Katie. You should take one to work.
I should.
It's an energy drink.
My boss will be fine. It says cold brew on it.
It's a cold brew coffee.
I think this should be. I might need to introduce this. I think my boss would probably love this.
Oh.
It's delicious.
Yeah, we're not even like into the episode and we're almost done.
Yeah.
And these are tall cans. So.
Yeah, I need to. Just gonna make the episode that much more exciting.
Nah, they're low alcohol though, so it'll be good. It'll be good. So what else? We never talked about, and it goes with the ghost aspect, but Muppets Haunted Mansion hit on Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. And what did you think of that?
You know what? I actually had a lot of fun with it. It was exciting to see how they kind of put all the different nods to the places around, and it was exciting to see a different reimagination of the Haunted Mansion, but also still so similar and comforting with it. I thought it was hilarious. The bride scene was just awesome because you got to see all the dead ghosts of all the husbands, and I thought that was really funny. It was got a good message in it. It was the idea of finding yourself and being happy with yourself, and it was fun to see how they put different characters in different places. So I really enjoyed it. It was ridiculous and silly. So what about you?
It was a little dry for me.
Yeah.
It was a little dry. It was definitely geared. You could tell that it was geared towards more the family kid aspect too. Right. But there was a lot of stuff that I really liked though about it that were like nods to the ride.
Yeah.
And some of those deeper ride cuts, I think I enjoyed more than almost the story that was being told.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it most when it was the Haunted Mansion aspect, and not like the story was nice, and I liked that they put one in there. Yeah. But it was definitely, it was super fun seeing the actual ride come to life in a different way, right?
Yeah. And I think that was kind of cool, especially when the ride broke down and it had like the speech that the ghost makes.
That was hilarious.
And they're standing there like going like, what the heck's going on right now?
What are you talking about? Yeah. That it was actually, instead of just being in the Haunted Mansion as if it was a real place, it was also kind of the ride. Yeah. So that was fun.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised though, like as much as it was pretty tame, how some of the Pepe humor still was allowed.
Yeah, and because you made a good point, I think it would have been fun to have Rizzo there instead of Pepe.
Yeah,
that was the only thing that.
What happened to Rizzo? Where did he go?
I like Pepe, but he can be very overwhelming. I'm surprised that his humor in general is still allowed. Yeah, because I'm amused by it, but I also can feel that
there's some cringy humor.
Yeah, should that have, did that land the right way they really wanted it to? Yeah. And is that okay nowadays? And so, yeah, some of that definitely is a bit more cringeworthy for sure. It doesn't really fit with how light Gonzo is now. Yeah. Right?
Well, that's why I understand where Rizzo went, because like it was Gonzo and Rizzo, like
that's what it's supposed to be.
That's that duo. So why is but
and the only other comment I have on that is a negative though is what is up with Kermit's voice?
Yeah, the new voice for Kermit is not super awesome.
Like it was painful and apparent every time he spoke. I'm like, nope, not Kermit, not Kermit. Like I understand it can't be exactly the same. I get it. But I've heard better impersonators. Yeah.
Well, like the new Mickey Mouse shorts, yes, it's not exactly like Mickey Mouse, but it still has the warmth.
Yes. Kermit didn't have that.
Kermit's warmth.
There's no richness to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not. I very much did not.
And
like
I think that's why he wasn't really used then. I think they're still working on it, right?
Yeah, it was probably like, well, we have to have something about it to help it along, but yeah. So
fair enough. Yeah. We also saw a new show on Disney Plus, not Disney Plus, on Disney Channel.
Actually on cable.
Yeah. The Ghost and Molly McGee.
Yes.
It's a new one on there, Disney XD, Disney Channel. And it's the guys that created it wrote a lot on Phineas and Ferb and Big Hero 6 and a lot of Lego stuff. Actually, a lot of Lego movies, like TV Lego spoofs.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains a lot, actually.
Yeah, right. I'm not super sold on it, but Kiddo and Katie have been enjoying it more than me.
Yeah, it's super light and super silly.
Yeah.
I think I like the Molly McGee character only because she's like so peppy and upbeat.
She ain't afraid of no ghost.
Yeah, she's just so happy, and a little bit of that is I'm kind of drawn to that idea where she's just so upbeat, but then the ghost is so grumpy, and obviously they're so juxtaposed against each other, but he's just like, at what point are we going to really like him though? Because I have a hard time with that sometimes when
because he's so harsh.
They're so harsh,
lazy.
Right? But she's just so funny because she just makes everything opposite, just ignores things, and it's just like, whatever, you're my best friend. Yeah. It's just like freaking out. The episode we watched today was they went camping, like almost like a Girl Scout type thing, camping, and that one was a good episode of looking at different people in different ways and seeing that you can't just tick a box for everyone. You never know what's actually going to be more important, and
for friendship.
For a friendship, and so there were some good lessons in that wasn't like straight up in your face, it was a good observation of it, and she kind of came by the lesson more naturally, but they do have songs in it, which I know is not your favorite thing, but then it makes sense with even Lego Movie has some singing, like Lego stuff has some, but the Phineas and Ferb has singing, but the songs are funny, like they're
spoof songs,
they're spoofs, right?
Yeah.
So like there was a baseball where it ended up the ghost was helping her cheat to make them better, and it was like, believe in yourself, and it sounded all upbeat, but then it was talking about interjecting in there by cheating, and it was just, you have to actually listen to the songs, which I think is funny because sometimes they're all just like magical song backgrounds, but these ones you actually have to listen to, and they're mocking this cartoon almost.
Well, some of it hasn't been bad. Some of it hasn't been bad, but
it hasn't blown me away.
Yeah,
but I'm still interested in it, and it's still kind of.
I was all excited because it was like ghosts, awesome. The character kind of reminded me of Bo Star, but it doesn't feel as polished as, say, like Amphibia.
Yes.
Or Owl House.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be so I'm trying to see if some more character development, you got a little bit more going on, will it add some richness to it, or is it still just going to be very, very simple? Now that she's got a human friend, is that going to change things, and is it going to take it in a different direction other than just her being in her attic with this ghost, or what's going on? So
makes sense.
So
makes sense.
Keep giving it a try.
So the Ghost and Molly McGee, it does feel though that it's geared a little bit younger than some of the ones we just mentioned.
Yeah.
In tone and all that.
Yeah.
So,
and it's definitely
about ghosts, which is funny.
Right. And it's definitely about the idea of very specifically talking about moving to a different town, having to deal with trying to fit into this new place and being the new kid.
Yeah.
And it's a very specific, lesson and situation, so it might not speak to everyone because I myself, let's say I never moved, I was never at a new school, I was never in that position, and if I was that age, I really wouldn't know how to relate to some of that stuff, right? So,
fair enough
so yeah,
the spooky season is here.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah,
that's good.
We paid a lot of money for those wolves, yeah. Spooky season.
And away from television and on to
spooky season
movies.
So this week we're doing ghosts. This was a weird week.
Ghosts are harder than you realize.
Well, no. There's ghosts. There's so many. There's like so many ghosts out there that I don't even know where to begin. Okay?
We were going to watch Ghost, but no. I mean, it's right there in the title. This is a ghost movie. But I didn't figure it was appropriate. No. Actually, that was not my idea. That was Mike's idea. We make some pottery afterwards.
You yelled at me, like, what are we going to watch? And I was like, we're going to watch Ghost. You're like, okay.
We did not watch Ghost.
No. So, ghost movies aren't really family oriented.
No.
A lot of them. But, like, they range quite a bit. And then it's like ghosts and hauntings and possessions, and then it gets into demons, and you're like, oh crap, no.
Yeah, see, I realized that some of the ones that feel more like a ghost are really demon movies.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you know, we were looking up some things. So one that I have not watched in what feels like a bazillion years is The Sixth Sense. And that is clearly a ghost movie.
It is.
Dun, dun, dun.
This movie, I am aware of the punchline, aware of the movie. Couldn't remember it for the life of me. Really, how the movie went. Would I have been able to tell you that he was a psychologist? No. Would I have been able to tell you that he got shot in the beginning? No. So I forgot completely about the movie. So I was excited. I was like, this is like a new movie that I already know the twist. So this will be interesting. So it's like semi Red Ninja.
See, and that's the thing. The Sixth Sense, it came out in 1999. It was from M. Night Shyamalan. And it was Touchstone Pictures. It starred Bruce Willis and introduced us to holy Haley Joel Osment.
You know, I literally thought his last name was Osmond. Up until the other day when I saw it written. I was like, it's a T at the end? Like, I learned something new. It's only been 22 years, but hey.
That's awesome.
Right?
That's awesome.
Sorry.
So when this came out, it was like a big deal. It was huge. Like, it was like mind blowing for people.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those movies that brought ghosts and that type of like whodunit mystery, even a bit of like suspense, more mainstream almost, right? Because they gave it the PG, 13.
Well, yeah,
rating.
it was more accessible. It wasn't gory.
Yeah,
there was a little bit of gore, just a smidgen, but it wasn't really spooky.
Yeah,
because the kid himself, he was afraid, and he wasn't
creepy.
But he wasn't creepy, exactly. Yeah. He himself was not creepy.
Yeah,
and the ghosts are not there long enough to really be creepy.
Yeah.
So it definitely did a good job of finding its way, into mainstream audience.
Yeah, and because it's very Hitchcockian, almost, right? Especially
the way it's shot, because that was his style. He always
and how kind of just like more tame it is, right? Yeah. Like it's focus first is the story and the journey of the story, versus like jump scares and blood and gore. So.
Well, it's like, think of it like a Psycho idea, right? I mean, really, the point of it is finding out the very, very end of it. It's not really that exciting throughout the middle of the movie at all. And when you go back and watch it, you're like, really, that twist just happens at the end. Yeah. And so it's that same, very, very much Hitchcock.
Yeah. So, granted, I wouldn't necessarily put The Sixth Sense as a horror movie, but we never did say in this spooky season we were only watching horror movies.
It was just spooky movies.
Spooky movies. Something that has something to do with the Halloween-y season. So The Sixth Sense, and it was nice because it had been one of those ones, because being a Disney movie in a roundabout way, right? Because Touchstone Pictures, Hollywood Pictures, actually, I think it was. It really didn't come out that often. Like the company Bruno Vista Video doesn't. They do what they do with Disney.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's here, then it's gone. It's here, then it's gone. And guess what? Now it's back, and it's really friggin' expensive, and you don't really want to buy it because it's that expensive. But you can't find it anywhere else because we don't have any Blockbusters or anything to rent it from.
Yeah.
So, and we're not putting it on streaming. So when I found out that it came out with Star Plus in Canada here, and it would be
like, I'm gonna
also
watch
internationally, I was like, hey. Finally, because I had The Sixth Sense on VHS.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if it had to at some point come out on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But I don't think I wanted to pay for it at that point. Right.
By that time, it's like, this is an old movie. Why is it not $5?
Yeah, right? Like, so.
Well, then they gave us the option, too, to be able to share with kiddo.
Exactly. And that was one of the things I was trying to go for. Because I was like this week, I was trying to find some movies to ease him in because he's not really into a lot of the horror or spooky stuff. He's come home a few times over the years saying, well, so-and-so's watching this. And then I'll show him the trailer and he says, no, thank you. Right?
Well, I mean, really, up until now, it's Hocus Pocus was our Halloween movie. And then, like, we showed him Casper one year. Yeah. And, that's...
Casper and
there's really,
Paranorman.
Yeah, Paranorman, that's that type of stuff,
and
right?
Paranorman, at least I give it kudos for being actually a kid's horror movie.
Yeah, that's a fantastic.
Whereas, otherwise you got Hotel Transylvania and the Addams Family and things like that, where it's like, it's not really...
It's not a Halloween movie.
It's not, it's not really spooky. It's not really a horror movie. You can't be like, I'm going to watch
Yeah.
So, trying to find those things. And I was like, okay, well, Sixth Sense was on like 30 little lists from moms, apparently, out there.
It was all Bruce Willis.
And
like, sure, any excuse that I can watch it with my kid and watch Bruce Willis, I'm on it. Surprised I didn't watch this as a child just because of my mother.
So that idea that it was like the starter horror. Yeah. Right? So I was a little worried about the runtime because it was almost 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay, he dealt with that, no problem.
But then I forgot, the kid likes Christopher Nolan movies. He could care less.
Good.
He could care less about a lot of other things.
But he sat through Tenet just fine.
Yeah. Tenet, Inception. He's just like, I'm all for it. You want to watch this like ridiculous, goofy movie? No. I need my highbrow thinking, mother.
So we dug into Sixth Sense.
So, as I said, this was interesting for me to rewatch and know the hook.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Right? Because I remember when originally watching it, those things where I went, wait a minute, hold on.
Something's weird.
Something's off with, Bruce Willis's character. Mm-hmm. And where I remember piecing it together, right? And having that like inclination, like maybe he's dead. Yeah. Before you get their final reveal, right? But then watching it now, you're just like literally.
It's obvious.
You're just like, oh shit! It's like right there. It's right there.
Yeah, there's so many clues to it,
and then you just feel like a dumbass,
right?
And you're just like, man,
like, how did I not put this together?
But I think at the same time, I think that's why it was put together so nicely, and it was filmed so well, and the acting and it's engaging enough to not realize.
Yeah. Well, because he's always so busy. He's always doing something. He's nothing. He doesn't question anything about his world. And if he questions something about his world, really, then it would allow you to question it because he is totally confident. Yeah. Right. My favorite, and I'm so proud of Kiddo for this, when we got to the end, and because I was waiting for him to figure it out because I kind of expected him to, but he didn't. Yeah. And when he did see the reveal, he just went off on how twisty it was. It was hilarious.
It's so twisty.
But I like how he said, you know what? I never even gave it a second chance because, you look at it and you're like, well, obviously he's still alive. And so you just breeze past these clues because we started talking to him about all these clues, and he's like, well, I never thought about it that way, because your brain he's like, my brain just filled in the gaps to make it make sense to the fact that of course he's alive.
Yeah.
So as soon as you know, then your brain actively does not fill in those gaps. And he's like, well, of course it's obvious. And it was cool to hear him say that and understand the concept of that, of a bias, honestly, on something.
Oh, yeah.
And that alone is its own lesson on how much we go through our world making assumptions about things, and we fill things in.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool to hear him be able to figure that out.
Yeah.
So.
No, totally. It was quite interesting to see that from his point of view. And it was cool to see that play out for him.
Yeah. He's like, he died at the very beginning.
Right. So that was a fun watch, to see that all fall
I
through,
really,
right?
I enjoyed, watching, because of knowing his scenario, watching how those other people failed to react to him, and it was interesting to see how they made it obvious that they weren't interacting, but also, and the questions that, like the kid's mom, here, Malcolm, right, is Bruce Willis's character's name. Malcolm is sitting in the living room, so she obviously, in that case, she should have known about him treating his son or talking to him, and yet she never once talks to the kid about Malcolm and asks how things are going. And when you look back at it, like I was telling Kiddo, and he's like, "Oh wow, you're right. Like, she should have known about that. Like, why was that never discussed?"
Yeah.
And
because you think, though, when she's like, "Oh, I'll go make dinner. You've got an hour."
Yes.
That's that clue that makes you feel like she knew he was there.
She knows that, okay, well, we have time to talk to him right now,
You've got 1 hour, right?
Yeah. And
or 45 minutes.
The other thing that it was interesting, being maybe just as an adult now in a relationship, when he goes to the anniversary dinner and she's not talking to him, and she's not making eye contact at all. And I told Kiddo, I was like, even when people are really angry at each other, you still make eye contact. You still acknowledge the other person, even with just your notions, or you're actively trying to ignore the person. And you can see on her face that that's not the case, that she is not even like, because if she was that angry to not talk to him at all, she would do something else to show that she was angry at him, and so you see those little types of things like that where you're like, that's beyond just sad or where I'm not speaking to you. Like, that's a whole nother level. And so even something like that doesn't feel quite right. My mom actually told me that was the scene that made her question whether something was weird or not, and it probably was that same idea for her, looking at that and being like, that's not how a wife would act if that was the situation, So it'd be interesting to see what different scenes made people question it along the way. Because you said you had a specific scene.
Yeah, it was when he breaks the glass, right? Because it was like, but you have to remember, when I remember seeing it, I was like 17.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So
I wouldn't have known any of that relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff,
so then you saw something different, right?
So then I saw it was the idea of like the glass breaking. No one says anything about what was with that guy. Right. They just they rush down there, and the people that are in the store are just like, they look shocked. Right.
Yeah.
And in that moment, it would have been like, well,
someone would have ran out there. Someone would have said there was a guy threw a rock, or he punched the window.
Exactly, right?
They would have explained something.
I've worked in retail. I've worked in sketchy area. Like,
right?
when something gets broken, someone says something. So I was like, that was my kind of key of like, something's,
Yeah.
So
another thing that I thought was hilarious of Kiddo's reaction was, at one point he actually defended Malcolm's wife for basically saying, well, he's not around, he's not working, they're not talking, he's ignoring her, so no wonder she's trying to talk to someone else and trying to look elsewhere. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, he was just like, well, no wonder she's doing that. Oh my God. I thought that was so funny. I was like, well, this was weirdly perceptive of you.
Right.
Like, okay.
All right.
So, but yeah, when he
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, when he finally dawned on when he was actually dead, he was just like, his eyes got all huge. He's like, wait, what? Whoa, what? So that was exciting to see that reveal again with someone, right? And we were explaining to him how, when that came out, the line "I see dead people" just became such a cultural phenomenon for us. Like, you couldn't have someone talk about a ghost or I see dead people without just saying that all the time. Like, I'm sure everyone listening was like, "Oh yeah, that line. Oh my god."
Yeah, right?
It was just like, beat to death here. So
totally.
But so it was fun. It was a fun experience overall because it's a really good movie, and it really is well put together and well acted. Yeah. And it's very interesting, and it's interesting to see the psychology behind it. It gives you a different way to think about, again, with mental health. If you want to believe the ghost side of it and think like how many people are seen as crazy and schizophrenic for what they're experiencing, or how much schizophrenia causes people to believe in ghosts, vice versa. It kind of just still makes you think about that stuff, right? Totally. So,
well, it was a well put together film, and I enjoyed rewatching it. It was a little longer than I would remember because, like, it is very dry. Like, it is full on drama.
It's drama.
It is a drama. There is no a way around that. Yeah. So
there's only a couple scenes that are a little bit more shocking, but it's very, very little, right?
Very little.
I mean, kiddo, I judge his scare level of how much he grasped onto my arm, and he was totally cool. So he wasn't freaked out at all.
Yeah. So, but rewatching The Sixth Sense was a fun ghost experience. So it was on Star Plus, part of the Disney Plus subscription for international subscribers. So you might have a chance to check it out if you haven't checked it out for a while or not at all.
So next up, Mike, was?
We jumped up from 1999 to 2002. I decided to show you guys The Ring, another PG-13 starter horror movie.
One I had never seen.
Yeah, which I was kind of surprised at.
Well, at that time, I was still watching my own movies, and I didn't have you to help me along.
Yeah, but this is a huge movie.
Yeah, but I did not like those type of... I watched movies that had sex in them. I'm not going to lie.
Let's talk about sex, baby. So we need to do a sex episode.
That might be interesting. I would like to hear people's comments on input suggestions for things to watch for an episode, the sex episode.
Eyes wide shut.
That's just
one scene.
It's just one scene. That's just the best scene of the movie, and we just leave the rest of them. Anyways, The Ring.
The Ring. So Naomi Watts stars in this Japanese remake, directed by Gore Verbinski. Of Pirates of the Caribbean fame. Caribbean?
You just said Caribbean? Get out.
Caribbean?
Get out of my house. Oh my goodness, don't do that again.
Caribbean.
Who are you?
Caribbean.
Thank you. I'm worried.
Caribbean. You like that harsh B?
No, that's weird.
You do.
The coffee's... Oh my goodness. Why am I still saying it's coffee? The beer. This is not good.
This is a Calendar Man moment.
I'm gonna put this in my coffee cup in the morning.
So The Ring.
Workday easier.
The Ring. It's the haunted videotape. If you watch it, you're gonna die 7 days later. So this was a remake of a Japanese film. So I had seen this. This was one of those ones I had seen in theaters.
I just recognized the creepy little girl with the black stringy hair.
Yeah. So this one here, kiddo stepped up to the plate and watched it with us. Because he was like, you showed me The Sixth Sense. That was nothing, Dad.
I'm invincible.
Yeah. So we checked this one out. So?
It was interesting. It was sad, honestly. When she first watches the videotape, I was like, okay, we got this. We're good. This kiddo's good. Then I watched the videotape and I'm like, oh crap. Is this going to be okay? What have we done? And I'm just waiting for the, like, he's going to have nightmares. Is he going to be okay? And the one thing that I think is helpful is the dated aspect. Mm-hmm. Because static does not exist in our world anymore.
Not unless we put a filter on it.
You know, phone calls like that don't exist. The phone ringing does not sound like that anymore. So there's no like PTSD of the phone ringing. Like, it's weird things to think of like that, right?
Yeah. No, there's no real VCR.
There's no VCR anymore. Right. So like, this feels like something really old.
It feels like a fantasy.
But I really enjoyed the mystery of it. I wanted to know what she was solving. And that was really interesting. I really did like that. There wasn't the kid, her son. Oh my God, he looks like possessed. He's just like naturally creepy looking. His eyes just so sunken like that. Yeah. And he was just, I kept waiting for something really scary to happen from him. He was one of the scariest parts of the movie. It was just like every time I see his face, oh my God, what's going to happen? Something's wrong with the kid.
I love that he was the scariest part of the movie.
No, the creepy Samara. So there was definitely like really, there was creepy moments, but nothing that made me kind of, as I kind of judge as if I try to push back into the couch a little bit. Like, that's what happens when I'm really freaked out. I'm like, I just kind of push back away from the TV. Yeah. And that didn't happen with this. And I don't know if I did have kiddo kind of latching on to me a little bit, but he even wasn't as freaked out like as I've seen him before. Yeah. But he was anticipating it. So it was interesting to see that he could tell when something might be happening.
He was listening to music.
So he was listening to music. Exactly. And so he's being able to pick up on some of that stuff. So when music would start, he would curl up onto me. And then when the music and the vibe kind of went away, he would disappear again. So he was being able to really be in tune to those cues that happen. And it was funny because it has that false ending when everything's okay, right? And I really let myself get into it. I'm like, wow, everything's going to be cool. Like, she solved the mystery. Everything's happy. Like, wow, she solved her death. And then when she comes home and tells her son that, and you weren't supposed to help her, I was like, fuck, that kid just ruined it again. Like, he's super creepy. What did he do? Like, what is wrong with you?
I like that it was the kid's fault.
I know, right? And then it was just so sad that the guy died. Like, I was so devastated because, of course, you cared now, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what made it worse. It's not like you wouldn't have cared before, but now, like, you really cared. He was going to be, like, going to step up to the plate, and he was going to be a dad, and he was going to be, like, a good guy. And then it was terrible. And then, kiddo was just like, I thought it was going to be done. And then she just crawls out of everything, and it's just like, oh my God.
Crawling out of the TV, I think, was the part for him that was just like, what have you done?
That was the worst part, for sure. And that was, I think, I actually, you know, I'll be honest. I was holding his hand tighter than he was holding mine. Just so you know.
So I had completely forgotten the placement of the movie. Yeah. And I'm like, all I could remember was when she like crawls out of the television. And so I'm sitting there going, every time there's something happening, I was like, crawling out of the TV time. Oh, yeah. Well, it didn't happen.
When they were at the cabin, you're like, she's going to crawl out of TV. And then it didn't happen. I was like, okay.
Then I'm like, shit, was that in Rings 2? Like, the Ring 2? Like, no, she crawls out of the TV in this one. Like, come on, get to it. Crawl out of that TV. And then it's not to the end. And it was just kind of that, like...
Yeah. Well, yeah, because then when you had said that, I'm like, okay, this has got to be it. And the way it was all setting up, you're like, yeah, it's going to happen. That was scary. Yeah. Like, as I say, I was legit holding kiddo's hand harder than he was holding mine. Not going to lie. Like, and I don't know if it was because I don't know what it was. But,
well, you know,
he was freaked out.
You know that's something that can't come out of these new little LED TVs because they're too thin. Yeah. It was the old...
It was the idea that I can, like, imagine that scenario, and I'm like, yep, no,
big, coming beefy out of the old RCA TV.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah. he totally was cool about it. I was afraid after all that he was going to have nightmares. But again, he can't imagine sitting in front of static and having the TV come on and watching a VHS. It just doesn't happen.
If she crawled out of his Switch, he would have been screwed. Yeah. Right?
That's what they need to do nowadays is something like that crawling out of a video game console.
Well, or it's just out of your phone.
Yeah.
Just like The Simpsons did, right? The TikTok video.
Yes.
Crawls out of the phone.
But yeah, that was just like super sad though, and what all she was, and then my concern, like, it was interesting, but by the same time when it ended, I'm like, well, okay, obviously she's messed up and she's got a curse, but what about, like, why? How did this happen?
Yeah,
there's so much of that backstory
that they didn't touch on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what about your thoughts watching it again?
It was another one of those ones where, like, I must have had like a better attention span back in the day, because, or I've just watched so many more like intense, more violent horror movies where I was like, psh,
yeah,
tame ass shit. Like,
you're 20 years, about 20 years older now, and you're just like, the world doesn't scare you anymore. That doesn't scare you anymore. The world's scarier,
right? So it was that moment of being like, it's still, I like it because it's another one of those ones where it's more of it's based on the journey to get to where it's going, and and it doesn't fall too much into the schlocky Hollywood like jump scary like but no, I still enjoyed it. I think it's still a decent one. It's a lot of build up.
Yeah,
a lot of build up. And, it is still based around a ghost and a haunting and a curse. Mm-hmm. It's like a chain letter.
Well, I like the idea of it, that the only way to save yourself, essentially, is to make the copy and pass on the curse.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a curse to you then, because knowing that you have cursed someone else. Yeah. So you really can't get away from it. It's just you morphed it into something else. You either die or you live with the guilt. Yeah. And that was an interesting way to think about it, and how those things gain power. It's that concept of if we weren't in fear and we just stopped and we didn't share it and we just said, okay, we got to deal with it. But by spreading the word or having us, run from it and talk about it more, it gives it power. Yeah. And it's that same kind of core lesson, right?
Yeah. So this was like huge when it came out. Like they did a sequel. They did a third one later on. Not as many sequels as I would have thought with how big it was. Yeah. But it also did spawn companies to look for what other Japanese movies they could try to Americanize.
Oh, okay.
This was like kind of like the first, like, besides like Godzilla, but like that curse aspect, right?
In different places.
So that leads us to our second movie of the night. Now, The Ring, we found it on Netflix, so it might be on Netflix for you.
Yeah.
So check that out. It's worth it if you're not really into slashery horror, like gruesome kind of thing. Yeah. If you're into the mystery,
it was definitely a mystery.
And it has that Hitchcock feel as well, right?
Yes.
So then that is something that could be up your alley, right? Yeah. Like if you're looking for kind of those starter, I kind of want to taste some creepy, but I don't know. Yeah. Right. Like then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, like we said, this led to our next movie, The Grudge.
Yes.
I don't know why I got hooked on the idea of The Grudge. It was on one of the lists for like starter horror for kids.
Oh my god. Tweens. Oh my god. I had never seen this movie again, so I was very excited. It was like a whole fresh new things for me. Yeah. Oh my god, I cannot imagine just showing kiddo this.
It's not that bad.
Oh my god, he would have had nightmares. I'm surprised I slept as well as I did. Anyways, going in.
So
he's like, oh my god, what have I done?
So The Grudge is another remake of a Japanese horror movie. It actually is directed by the guy that did the Japanese version, Now he's got Hollywood money, but he also has Hollywood limitations. It was also a Sam Raimi production, especially when he was bringing on his Ghost House, which was producing other horror movies. So this was another PG-13. It was originally going to be R, but they wanted to capitalize on the
with the ring and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the R rating. I mean, the PG-13 rating, right? Because like they were like that became a thing for a while. Which at the same time, it's really hard to find the PG-13 horror movies.
Yeah.
But so this is another curse movie, a ghost curse movie. And it's the idea that a grudge is formed in a crime of passion, basically.
Yeah, if someone was killed in a fit of especially rage. Sorrowful or rage fueled, then it creates this angry spirit, basically, which is not a new concept by any means. More of a poltergeist feel, but it's just a different version of it.
Yeah. Right? So unlike, say, like The Ring, which was like a Japanese movie that they Americanized and brought it over to like Seattle. Yeah. Made it completely American. And then Dark Water follows that same thing. And after I told Katie, I was like, we should have watched Dark Water. It could have been Japanese remakes.
Right?
We'd had 3 Japanese remakes.
But this one still takes place
in Japan. Yeah. So it stars Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's a really small cast, really. Yeah. Think about it. Like it's really tiny cast.
Just a few people.
So you definitely feel that we shouldn't have shown Kiddo.
No.
We didn't show him.
As I explained earlier, my judgment on whether I'm freaked out is whether I try to meld into the couch. Multiple times trying to meld into the couch. The kids were creepy. So freaking creepy. I was afraid I would sleep badly. Yeah. I was afraid that because as a child, my biggest fear was the dark bedroom door crack open, looking into my dark hallway. Okay. So like when I was younger, the way my bed was placed, the door was open a little bit and I could see down the dark hallway, right? I hated crossing the hallway to go to the bathroom. Like the dark hallway was just not okay. Why I never thought of putting a nightlight in there was beyond me. When I moved bedrooms when I was younger into where I couldn't see out down the hallway, it was like this huge thing for me. So the idea of those things like popping out of the darkness and just their creepy little faces and the sounds they were making, I was so afraid that I would see the darkness of the hallway last night and freak out. And luckily I did not have any of those problems. I slept totally fine, but I was seriously worried about that. Yeah. Seriously worried.
You did not express any of those concerns to me last night.
I know.
Is even more funny.
It let it go but maybe because I didn't give it power, I was just like, nope, we're just moving on.
That's funny. So because this was one that you hadn't seen, this was because I was teetering on should we show Kid or not, but then we ran out of time, so we just watched it ourselves. Yes. And I was too lazy to look up another ghost movie. for what was on streaming that we could find quickly. Yeah. And we
I was excited to watch something that I hadn't seen. Yeah. So now I've seen it. So
and then this was on Amazon Prime. Yeah. Which we were reviewed on. This one for me, I have one friend that out of all the horror movies that we have watched over the years, this is one of the movies that scared the crap out of him in the theaters. Yeah. And he refuses to watch it because of that singular sound. Well,
he still freaks out. Right?
That
and I don't know if I had it in my head that it was going to be scary because of that, because I know his level of fear is not high. Yeah. Except for that movie. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so what movie scared him so badly? Yeah. So I'm surprised, honestly. It was scary, but it wouldn't be like, compared to all the other movies that I have seen, this is not like the highest scare movie by any means. Like, because I know that I was totally fine, I was able to let go of that fear pretty quickly. Like, because you've seen me before when we watch a scary movie and I don't even want you walking behind me on the stairs. Yeah. Like, I was okay as soon as we turned it off. So I know that there's that. But.
So I'm going to give a bit. We had drank a lot before we went and saw this movie.
That explains a lot more.
like we would go and get pizza, Boston Pizza, and like
and then he'd drink.
He'd get a pitcher. I get a pitcher.
Yeah, we'd get pitchers. Yeah, you would get pitchers of beer there. Oh, yeah.
And you'd have the pizza, and then you'd walk over to the theater.
And then wait for it all. Yeah, you guys are probably pretty wasted.
Yeah. So I think his senses were a little off when we originally saw that because like I remember that one being kind of dull.
Yeah.
I remember there being a few key scenes that were like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, because between the scary, it's quite dull.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, I didn't like the video scene of her in the hallway. The thing I found creepy was that they followed people.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't,
that was creepy to me.
It wasn't just the house.
Because I think about that, like, there's almost a comfort knowing, like,
there's rules.
There's rules to these ghosts. They're stuck in a place. So I assumed, okay, something horrible happened at this house. They're stuck at the house because it's supposed to be kind of like a murder house now, you know? But no, they travel. And that breaks the rules, and that freaked me out.
Yeah. So
that was one of the scariest parts of it. Was it not following?
Well, I guess there was it only affected people that were in the house, though.
They had to pick it up from there. It wasn't just anywhere, but it was that idea where. So then the idea that it's imprinted on the person that was in the house.
Yeah.
And then that's how it's able to move around to you. So it is more of a curse than just a ghost. Yeah. Right?
So if you were in the house. So
it's like the spirit of it, and it is that idea with a grudge then. It's not the actual ghost itself. It's more of the vibe of what had happened there, right? And then when you get the reveal of what had happened in the house, that was pretty grotesque. Mm-hmm. Like that was, again, just very mortifyingly sad. Yeah. To find out what had happened, you know? It was definitely strange when it starts out with... Bill Pullman just jumping off the ledge, and I'm like, what the hell? And then it just goes away. I'm like, how does this have anything to do with what is going on?
A bigger name actor,
right?
At that time,
Bill Pullman just shows up and kills himself. Okay, that was a weird little cameo piece. Like,
you know what I've always wanted to do in my acting career? Jump off a building. Yes, I want to commit suicide in a movie.
He doesn't say a single line at the beginning. It's just like gone. I'm like, okay. I was like, no, I know this is about the kids. They're the ghost people. It's not Bill Pullman's the ghost. Yeah. Like, he's not the grudge part. So,
why did the president jump?
Exactly. So I'm excited I saw it. It had creepy moments that I like. Out of the three, it was definitely the creepiest one, and I'm very glad we didn't even attempt to show Kiddo, because I would have felt terrible and he would have been latched onto me so tight.
You think so?
Yes. I really do. I think he wouldn't have been happy with because the faces were creepy. And there was more. There was
a couple more gruesome moments.
Yeah, and
Ted Raimi's death is a little bit more gruesome.
Yeah, and then
the seeing of the jawless woman.
But there's a little bit more to not relate to, but feel like you could experience. How many times they showed them staring at the ceiling with something coming down there? That's what I was afraid. I was going to freak out about. So I was worried that if we had shown him that he'd be laying in bed staring at a ceiling. Because all I could think of was I would have done that. So like for me, I tend to like just bury my head under the blankets and I don't look at the ceiling. So those types of things, right? So it was a little bit easier to maybe I could see those moments of freaking out because your surroundings, opposed to say The Ring or Sixth Sense, where you wouldn't have had those moments, right? Like, not being able to be in front of a TV like that, or those types of things, right? So
yeah, but with the Sixth Sense, though, there's actually like ghosts in the bedroom.
But we know that there are no ghosts here because of you, so we're good.
Well, okay, fine.
That's why. So there's why. So it was overall, it was fun, scary moments, and it was enjoyable to watch. But between those was kind of boring.
Yeah, I think I started falling asleep at the end.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think you did too, because I
don't remember how it ended.
I cuddled up to you and I could feel that you were twitching and falling asleep, and I was like, whatever, he's seen it before, I don't care. So if I ever see it again, I could care less. Let's be honest. It wasn't as interesting to me. Like The Ring almost had more of the suspense of this.
It was a lot more disjointed than I ever remembered.
I had a hard time keeping track of the
timeline
and the people.
Yeah.
And I do, on a full disclosure, I was trying to fill a few things in an Animal Crossing when I was starting to watch the movie, and I was like, I need to stop playing the game because I'm having a hard time focusing. But even when I put the game down, it was hard to keep track of the people involved and the timelines, and it wasn't seamless.
Yeah.
And as
what
well
was
shot.
interesting was that it's all like sold on Sarah Michelle Gellar being in it, and yet she's not really in it that much.
Yeah, she's not the main character by any means.
No.
It's an ensemble of people.
Yeah. And they all are just
everyone.
bit pieces almost.
Yeah, no one really is a starring.
Yeah. Yeah, she's the one that they burned the house down.
Yes. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Well, they saved the house. That was the problem. They saved the house, and then that's how it ends, was with the ghost behind her in outside the house, right? Yeah. So it's like, So,
but wait, there's more.
I know, right?
So, but yeah, The Grudge, yeah.
So there's my experience for it.
As I say, it's one of those ones where it's like it definitely has some creep factor.
The little boy freaked me out, because he's all curled in and his big mouth and his just
exaggerated cat mouth.
Yeah, that was creepy. The cat meowing thing, that was creepy too.
Yeah.
He was probably the creepiest thing,
and
because he's just. He was so thin too, and so curled up, but very long limbs as well. He was just kind of a bit different looking, right? Mm-hmm. So then you add in, they were all the black and white, and totally off topic. Back to The Ring, when she comes out of the TV, me and Kiddo both really like the fact that she still looked like she was in the TV.
Static.
And she was not a real person. She was a TV signal come to life, like a little holographic projection. And that was really cool. So that alone then helped a little bit with the fiction aspect, though, right?
Yeah.
So, but back to The Grudge.
I wonder, though, like for that one there, because that one never did as well as, say, like, it's always like the one hits big and then the other they try to copy, and then they I wonder if that one would have done better if it had been if they had brought the story over to the States for the American audiences. Yeah,
because understanding a little bit more of even what was going on, why the house they were in there, and what was going on with
not that we need that. Like at the same time, we should be able to understand it all, but it just didn't do as well, right? But then I showed you the trailer of the I don't know how to say them in their Japanese names, but back in 2016 they pitted the two
Samara against the girl from The Grudge, basically.
Yeah. In a versus movie.
That was so weird, because it turns out that these two girls are cursed, and the only way to get rid of their curse is to pit their curses against each other. Like, what the hell is this?
I kind of want to watch it because it looks so ridiculous. It's like the Jason versus Freddy moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was pretty funny, because I'm like, how are they going to make them fight?
How are you going to make the curses fight?
It's like the curses are going to fight each other. How? Why? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, at least the Freddy vs. Jason is like, there's a bit more of an understanding. You can wrap your head around that more, but.
Yeah, but still, it's just kind of awesome at the same time.
I know. You're like, still, whatever. A versus, whatever. We're all for it.
Yeah. Out of the three movies that we watched, though, which one would you tell someone to watch if they were looking to try to find a basic ghost kind of movie?
Interesting. To myself, I enjoyed the storyline of both The Ring and The Sixth Sense more than The Grudge, because in general, The Grudge, I really just remember the scare moments that really just stuck out to me. So the rest of it was kind of meh. The characters I don't really care too much about. Like, it's sad when the people die, but whatever. The Sixth Sense is really well put together, but it's difficult when you already know the twist at the same time. It was still really interesting to see, but it wasn't creepy. So in the middle of all that is The Ring, which to me is an interesting suspense story to solve a mystery. You also care about the characters and trying to save them, and yet it also has creepy factor. So I think for what it's trying to do, that almost is the better one, because it has a little bit of everything. And as much as, you can still know the end, but it doesn't really change the story.
Yeah.
Opposed to Sixth Sense, right? Where it changes your viewpoint of it, which, as long as you're okay with it, then it's definitely worth seeing.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I've been able to watch it, and now I can say that I've really fully seen it, because I think it's worth seeing as a film. But if you want to have just that little bit of creepy, but not quite there for like jump scare and horror, but you still care about the character, I would say The Ring. So
okay,
it's a little bit of everything there.
No, that's good to know.
Bit of a cop out, but
watch all three.
But
make
I'm
up your
good
own
at
mind.
that.
There
so
you go.
The Ring, Sixth Sense, then The Grudge. How about that?
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, there's so many that we could have watched with this. The idea of ghosts, like it was.
We're totally gonna watch Ghost soon.
It was. There are so many things that like we could have found. It's just a matter of also finding them, right?
Yeah.
Like there's just, we could have gone to the ones that we've watched, the stand, tried and tested to, like Conjurings and things like that.
So yeah,
that's demonic possession.
Demonic possession, right?
Right. But then there's, one I wanted to find actually was 13 Ghosts. I would love to watch that one again.
What is that one?
Because it was just like really bad horror in the 2000s.
Oh, okay.
They started with House on Haunted Hill. It was a remake of House on Haunted Hill, and then they did 13 Ghosts, where it was like this house where they had 13 ghosts of the Zodiac or whatever to try to open this portal and all that, and all these like ghosts are. The people had to like wear like special goggles to be able to see the ghosts and all that, and the ghost designs are what I remember being amazing and wanting to see more of that. Right. So
could just watch the Ghostbusters.
Could have watched Ghostbusters.
What about the Frighteners? Is that a ghost movie?
Yeah, that's a ghost movie too.
We've talked about wanting to watch that for like a year now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the Frighteners is good though.
Yeah.
If you can find the Frighteners, that's a really good one. That's Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox movie.
Yeah.
Deals with ghosts. That one didn't even come to mind, actually.
Yeah, like I just now thought about it. And so I'm sorry that I didn't, because that would have been fun to we actually try to watch. So we might just need to like add that in as a, at some point when we're not quite sure what to watch in the mix between.
Is that one kiddo friendly?
We've talked about it before, and then you said no, it wasn't. But it's now been long enough that maybe it is. We could do some research. Because we need to find some Halloween movies for him, so. We'll find it. We'll figure it out.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah? A little too freaky?
I think it's the sex.
That's the
I
thing
like
that
it when they lay still like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one might be...
Not surprised. If Peter Jackson, I wouldn't expect it to be.
Because it's more in line with his, like, his old stuff.
And that's why I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Might be gruesome. Like, crude. Right?
Yeah, so, some of it, yeah. But the Frighteners is really,
we can try to watch it ourselves, because I know we've talked about it. So
there's so many, and we have a couple more spooky season episodes coming up. There's only 2 spooky season episodes left.
Getting close, man.
One of them will be out in November because it comes out after Halloween, but we'll be watching spooky movies on the Halloween weekend. So.
Yes, because that's what we're going to do for Halloween.
And I've not decided yet which...
Halloween's on a Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we can't even stay up late.
Yeah. But which is sad.
Yeah. We have to really think on the Monday, right?
Next week, I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided yet.
Ooh.
Because I don't know.
It's a mystery spooky movie.
Yeah.
Season.
Yeah. Because
I'm picking the right word somewhere in there. After all this coffee.
Right. But we could go with a gore route, because we haven't really done that. We haven't done anything really visceral. Blood. Right?
Yeah, we haven't. Everything's been really mild.
We could go creatures. We could go, I don't know where to go.
Rocky Horror.
We've already done that recently.
I don't care.
I'm
just joking. I know that.
I
don't need to watch it. I hear, you know what? Time Warp plays an odd amount at work. Yeah. At the bank.
Why?
That's a place for the Time Warp. All year round. I hear Thriller and Monster Mash and Time Warp since March. Tell me how that makes sense. It's the weirdest thing ever. I hear it all the time.
That is strange.
All the time.
That is weird.
Every day I hear the Monster Mash. It's not okay, man.
That is really weird.
I know. Yep.
Someone hates you guys.
Yep.
But yeah, so I'm still trying to decide where we should go. Do you think we should do something a little bit more visceral?
Probably. We need to do something a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would involve, but it's been pretty mellow. And then we need to do that. So then, because Halloween weekend will have to be a little bit more mix of things, right?
Okay.
And that might need to be a schmozzle of things.
Schmozzle of things.
Schmozzle of
The
Halloween.
one with the schmozzle
The one with
of horror?
the schmozzle of horror.
Okay. So we'll try to figure out some more for you. But yeah, if you like those, of course, give us a like, share us, give us a review and all that on any of where you're listening to us, because we'd love to hear from you. But yeah, definitely check out any of those films or give us some more recommendations for ghost movies, because it's not just one time a year.
So I don't subject him to the ghost.
Or no. Hey, you know what? November, do what you must.
I know.
I subject you to different spooky movies through October. Right? So November we could just be watching, Dirty Dancing, the one with all the Patrick Swayze.
That's gonna be the sex episode somewhere in there. That's what's happening. November is gonna be romance for some reason. It's not February. It's gonna be November. I'm just joking.
3 Swayze movies.
I don't even have to watch the Swayze movies, and I could just do a podcast on them.
See, then there you go, apparently. But yeah, so we'll be back next week with some more spooky movies.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
And remember, stay rad, dudes.